Great, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining. How's everyone doing? I hope the weather is being friendly to you wherever you are, because we're having a heat wave here in Pennsylvania. So reached like 101 degrees today. Crazy, right? Welcome to everyone who's just coming in. So we're just waiting on our guest and then we'll get started. Yeah, I heard some places are really having floods and, you know, all kinds of crazy weather. That's what happens in the summer. So I hope things turn for the better wherever you are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone's having a good week. I can't believe June is almost over, right? This weekend is 4th of July. It feels like just yesterday that we were kind of in limbo trying to figure out what was going on with 4th of July, with the pandemic and everything. So I don't have any music on today because these copyright things are killing me. So yeah, we are not doing music today, but we're just gonna chat and, you know, stay copyright free. Just had to get my headphones. So Alejandra, if you are in the room, just send me a request and I'll let you in. So what is one thing that you guys have planned for the summer? Because I know everyone's like, we're outside, people are going on vacation, so where are you guys going? What do you have planned? Now that a lot of the mandates have been lifted, there's a lot more freedom. So let me know in the comments what you have planned. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone just coming in. For me, I need to get to a beach soon. I think that's the vibe that I need to be on. Because from living in Florida for a while, I think I was kind of spoiled. I didn't live like right next to the beach, but I was pretty close. So, you know, it's crazy because once you come back to a city area, you got to travel like pretty far out to get back to the beach. So, okay, cool. Disneyland, nice. Went to Disneyland some years ago. I think that was like, what, 2006? Yeah, it's been a while. I'm overdue for Disneyland. Vegas. Oh, cool, Bruno Mars. Yeah, Bruno Mars and the Silk Sonic movement, they are really doing amazing right now. I like their whole vibe. New York in September. Awesome. Oh, is that for the D Nice concert? Probably. Yeah, that should be fun. I know some people are going to Cali for the concert in, I want to say August in Cali. That should be cool. Awesome. Yeah, he's got a pretty cool lineup. He's got variety too between the two shows. I think Sheila E., Emery, Neo, and a bunch of other people are going to be in Cali. And then for New York, it's going to be like Miss Melba Moore. Who else? I didn't really look at the lineup for New York that closely. And there's a Atlanta one too, I heard, or people are hoping for. Hollywood Bowl. Yeah, see, if you live in California, you're very lucky, because for us out on the East Coast, it's quite a trip. But I'm glad to see that there's going to be some meetups and things like that. nice. Yeah, everyone should meet up. That's definitely, it's coming full circle, right? Because most people, at least in those communities online, met through the lives, and now they're going to meet in real life. And some people have already started to meet in real life, so that's really cool. So we're just waiting on our guest. She should be in any minute, and then we'll get started. Yeah, I mean, that really is going to be the highlight of a lot of people's summers, I think. Whitewater rafting. Oh, that's cool. Horseback riding. Nice, nice. Yeah, I've heard Bruno Mars tickets are up there, but I think he's worth it. I mean, he's an amazing performer. It's just in his bones. Oh man. Yeah, he definitely charges a lot. Brooklyn, yeah. The thing about the Brooklyn one though is it's in I think it's in on a Thursday, right? Okay, our guest is in, so I'm gonna invite her in after I read her introduction, and then we'll get started. Alright, so Alejandra is a certified surgical assistant, CSA. She works at a hospital in Rochester, Minnesota. Alejandra has a bachelor's degree in history. She enjoys working in healthcare and wants to make a difference in people's lives. She hopes to be a traveling CSA or maybe pursue a career as an advanced provider. Alejandra wants to show others that if you want to pursue a career in healthcare or any career that seems challenging, you can overcome the obstacles along the way, and perseverance is the key. So without further ado, put in your applause emojis for Alejandra. Let's see. She's still in the room. Okay. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. It's good to finally meet face to face. I know we've been following each other for a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're doing this because, you know, I wanted to get to know a little bit more about your career path and also your personal journey.
Mhm.
So definitely happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm a little nervous. I've never done an interview like
Oh,
this before, so I hope I don't mess up.
no, you can't mess up. There's no rubric here or anything. It's just a casual conversation, so to speak. But I do find all of these interviews to be very uplifting to everyone who watches it because there's a lot of people out there who can relate to what you've been through possibly. So it's always definitely an impactful time.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes. So just to start, I usually begin with a little icebreaker before we get into the questions.
Okay.
So my icebreaker for you today is if you had to choose one climate to be in for the rest of the year, would it be extremely hot or extremely cold, and why?
I would choose extremely hot because I just visited Arizona recently, and even though it was like 115 degrees, I don't like the snow. I've been living in Minnesota for over 10 years. I was born in Chicago, but since I've learned when I was 18, I finally got my own car. So I was driving in the winter, and it gets really cold in Minnesota if you're not familiar, like negative 20, negative 40s sometimes. And the roads can get icy, and like driving on ice and in the snow just gives me like anxiety and I get nervous. So I can see myself just living somewhere warm all the time, all year round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I do not like the cold. I don't
Yep.
know how I'm a winter baby because I just want to be in the
So
heat.
am I.
You are, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a paradox. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. at least kind of in the heat, you can find ways to get a little bit cooler. But in the cold, it's like there's just no escaping it.
Yeah, you can't do much activities outside unless you really like winter outdoor activities. I don't. But yeah, when it gets cold, you just want to be inside your house all day. Don't go out. Like even going to the grocery store to buy stuff during the winter, I'm like, great, I have to go out. Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, you have to worry about transportation and everything. I definitely
Yeah.
agree with that.
And your car not starting, because that has happened to me before.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember this past winter having to dig my car out of the snow so many
Yes.
times,
Yes.
shoveling.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So, from your introduction, we all know that you are a certified surgical assistant. So, for people out there who are not too familiar with this profession, could you please just give a brief explanation of what it entails and how you got into this profession?
Yeah, so certified surgical assistant, or CSA, is someone who assists the surgeon throughout the surgery. So we prep the patient, we prepare them for surgery, we position the patient. We are able to insert Foley catheters if needed. And then basically my job is to help the surgeon do a good job throughout the surgery. I do different things like pulling apart tissue, cauterizing the tissue, or like burning it, tying blood vessels together. And one of my favorite things about being a surgical assistant is that I get to suture. If you ever had surgery and then afterwards you see that line right there, more than likely it could be done by a doctor, but a surgical assistant, someone like me, I'm also able to do that. So it's very satisfying to do, just watching the wound go from this incision, and now I bring it all together, make sure it's perfect. So it didn't come easy to me. I did have to practice a lot when I was a student. So now, yeah, now it's my favorite thing to do. So that's basically what a certified surgical assistant is.
That's amazing. That is
Yeah.
really amazing.
Mhm.
And I think, as you mentioned, there's so many individuals involved in a surgical team, from
Yeah.
the physician to the anesthesiologist to the
Mhm.
nurses and CSAs. So, thank you for what you do, because it really is a team effort.
Thank you. Yes, it really does take a team, you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how many years of training are required for the CSA position?
So I went to a 1-year program and I got a certificate when I was done, and then I received my license. However, there are 2-year programs available where you can get a master's, and that just requires a little bit more of education on that part. So for me, that program required a 4-year degree, a bachelor's degree in any field, along with science prerequisites like microbiology, chemistry, physiology, those type of classes. And I had all those qualifications, so I applied, and it was 3 months. We studied a cadaver for 3 months, so we really go in depth into our anatomy. And then we had clinicals where we showed up to a hospital and got to use our skills and our knowledge that we learned in the classroom. We did that for about 6 months, and then once that 1-year mark came, my program was from August to August, we were able to graduate and pass our exam.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, being in clinicals is an exciting time. And of course, there are challenges as well, because, sometimes with patient interactions, you may
Mm-hmm.
think you're too young, or you don't look like them, or
Exactly.
something could get in the way of that effective patient communication. So during your clinicals, did you encounter any challenges like those, or any other challenges?
My yes. So for me, it was challenging because maybe this was just like me being left-handed was challenging, because in surgery there's a lot of instruments used predominantly for right-handed individuals. So like learning how to suture, for example, was challenging. Learning how to tying knots was challenging, and even cutting scissors. Like, you think scissors wouldn't be challenging, but for me being left-handed, like I couldn't cut. So just it was challenging for me just learning the surgical skills that I needed. And during clinicals, every day I didn't really get the opportunity to show off, so that kind of sucked. But then the days that I was able to practice my skills, those were the good days.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I never really thought about that with surgery, is that
Um,
based on your hand dominance, there could be some difficulties in the
I
techniques.
didn't either, but I was the only left-handed one. I kind of was on my own on that part because every our instructors were right-handed, and I was like, well, let me see what I can do. So YouTube was very helpful.
Wow. So you learned how to do everything on your right hand, or did you convert it to left hand?
I do everything with my left hand. For tying, I think I tie right-handed, but I can go back and forth. But suturing, like, for sure, you don't want someone with a shaking with their non-dominant hand closing your skin, the only part you see. So like I make sure I perfected it with my left hand. I will never suture with my right hand. So cutting the scissors, I do know how to do that with both hands though. So that just came over time.
I really applaud you for that, because I remember having classmates in school um, that had to get the left-handed desks, or
Yeah.
just have things change for them because of that. And so being able to overcome that challenge was really a great feat.
Yep, exactly. There are surgeons that I have talked to before that are left-handed, and like back in the day, they had to learn how to suture and do stuff with their right hand instead because that was the only way. But times have changed now, so left-handed people, we get to use our left hand.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice. Yes, all dexterities matter, right? So we need to cater to people no matter what hand they use.
yeah, exactly.
And so you also got your bachelor's degree in history. So can you tell us a little bit more about what led you to that degree program?
Yeah, so I went to college when I was 18, straight out of high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I like to read, I like to write. So the history program was just something that just caught my eye. So like, why not? So I'm really glad that I chose it because I found out that I really like to do research. I like to read a lot, and if you are a history major, you get to read a lot and do a lot of research, and then you get to edit your paper and do presentations. And that was just a really good experience, and I'm actually glad I chose it.
Yeah. Yeah, I always liked reading and writing as well, and presenting. So I think that's a great fit.
Yeah.
And did you have any particular period in history that you were drawn to more than others?
Yeah, so I took an American history class. It was from after the Civil War to like the 1960s, and I really enjoyed that period in time. So once I got to take my upper level division courses, I chose classes to focus on that time specifically in American history. I liked learning about life in America after World War II and also the 1960s. So if you think about like the civil rights movement, that's something I really enjoyed doing. It was just a really important time in American history. In my opinion, a lot of significant events that has shaped our society today happened during that time. I like to study certain individuals during that time, study their work, and I just really, yeah, I like reading about that time in history.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I was fixated on the 60s for a long time during high school,
Hmm.
just with the music, and there was a lot of things changing with television and education during the time. Of course, like you mentioned, the civil rights movement.
Hmm.
So it's definitely, you can see the evolution of society in each decade, like
Yeah.
after the 60s, I think, especially.
Yes, exactly. I went through a 60s music phase when I
Yeah.
was in college, so I listened to that genre for like a year. Like I still enjoy that type of music today, but like I was just really obsessed with it back in the day.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's why I was really drawn to the movie Forrest Gump, because around that time it had all the 60s rock music and talking about the war and everything. So,
Hmm.
you know, although we know a lot of it was fictional, if not all of it, but, you know, based on true events
Yes.
for other people, like going to war and everything, definitely interested me. And it was reflected a lot in the music too.
Yeah, a lot of opinions about certain things and
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, since you transitioned into a medical profession after studying history in your undergrad program, did
Mhm.
you find any difficulties fulfilling those prerequisite courses for sciences?
So I also have a minor in biology. I took biology, anatomy, physiology, chemistry when I was in college. I enjoyed biology in high school, so I was like, why not just focus, just take a few classes in in science when I was in college. Minor wasn't required for my major, but I just chose to because why not? And so when the opportunity for the CSA program arose, I was a little nervous that some of my science classes wouldn't qualify, but fortunately they did, so I didn't have to take any additional classes to meet those requirements.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's very
So,
lucky.
yeah, yeah. So I know like anatomy would be one of them. What are some other um, science? And I think you talked about microbiology too. But what were some other classes that had to qualify for that?
Anatomy, physiology, microbiology, biology, um, and then chemistry or general chemistry. I'm just gonna say it's chemistry, so a chemistry course.
Right.
I think I might be missing one, but I'm pretty sure those are the core prerequisites required.
Okay.
Hmm.
And pre-nurse M is asking what made you interested in the CSA program and how did you hear about it?
So I was working after college. I took a job as a medical interpreter. I really enjoyed it. However, I wanted to further my career in healthcare. So I don't even know how I came across it. I think I was on a website and I was just looking at careers in healthcare and I saw CST, so a certified surgical technician. And then I also saw a CSA, a certified surgical assistant. So in Minnesota, in the town I live in now, they had a school. And so that was the only program within my vicinity that I saw. And so I went in depth. I read their program, read what they were about, read how to get in and what happens after you get in and the job outlook after you graduate. And the program had a job outlook of 100%. So that was really important to me, and just making sure I met the requirements to even apply. I looked into that, and fortunately, like I did meet all of them. And um, I like I am, and the reason I got interested, well, yeah, I mentioned that I wanted to get further into healthcare, and then maybe even one day become uh, an advanced provider with like maybe a master's degree one day.
Right. That's amazing. And how long would that program be if you went to the next level for the advanced provider?
Well, right now, I if I can really be a doctor if I wanted to, but just maybe not so much as I want to be like maybe a nurse practitioner or PA, a physician associate, a physician assistant. Now that they changed the name over to that, and to get that, I do have to go back to school and take more science prerequisites. And given since I graduated in 2017, some programs require classes taken in the last 5 years. So I have to make sure that program doesn't have like an expiration date on the classes. Otherwise, that'll just take more time to even just get the prerequisites. And then I have to apply for that program. So it's not even guaranteed I'm going to, get accepted to that master's program. So it's just a lot of researching and trying to figure out what would be the best route for me. So I'm thinking 5 years, 4 or 5 years, if I chose to even get a master's degree.
Right. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was thinking about some medical and even nursing programs out there that have a 1 year period prior to the program beginning that's
Yes.
still included that
Yeah.
allows you to do those prerequisites, and I think you get a certificate at the end, and then you continue on. So maybe they have something like that for the CSA.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I'm still doing researching, so I'm not in a hurry. I'm happy where I am now. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. And you know, I'm sure that a lot of healthcare workers out there can relate when I say that there must have been some type of impact by the pandemic on your career, your professional journey. So, what impacts did the pandemic have on your job and the way that you view healthcare as a whole?
Yeah. So once when the pandemic really hit the United States, March, I say March or mid March was kind of hard. Like there were rumors going around the hospital that we were going to close down, but we still continued, or like for management. And then it was really until early April, like the first week of April, where someone was exposed in our facility and they didn't tell anyone. Someone who worked in the operating room was exposed to the virus, so they tested positive and they didn't tell anyone. And then we know that was way before masks were even like mandated, so they were talking and exposing everyone. And then once that word got out, the ORs were closed for about 3 weeks. So fortunately, the hospital that I worked at then provided everyone, all the employees, with pay until April 27th. So we didn't work for 3 weeks, so I stayed at home, but I was still getting paid. And then our manager just texted us every night, stay at home, don't come in, we'll let you know. And then after those 3 weeks, I got a call, be like, hey, come in tomorrow. Not my regular schedule. It was like at 7 a.m. for only 4 hours, doing certain things like cleaning and just stocking up things. But we were still not open for surgery yet. So I was just really fortunate enough to be at home and still be getting paid when the pandemic did hit, though.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I know a lot of centers that were viewed as non-essential may have been shut down, and the particular location that you're at, what type of surgery is really done? Because I think that plays a role as well in terms of what was staying open and how many hours they were staying open.
Yeah, so I can't recall what it was like for the other departments, but for surgery, all surgeries were canceled until further notice. And then once that 4th or 5th week hit, all the surgeries were separated into essential and non-essential. So the surgeries that needed to happen, like probably cancerous cases, those needed to go on, and like elective surgeries were postponed for about like another month. So as far as the other departments, I'm not sure, but for surgery, I knew we were kind of closed for a while, and then we started working more to severe cases, and then eventually we started back to normal around like May.
Okay, May of last year still.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I know everything pretty much shut down in March.
Mm-hmm.
People were really being restricted in the hospitals because they had to reallocate certain wings for ICU overflow, and it was a mess in a lot of places. So I'm glad that you weren't so much impacted to the point of not having a job, because that did happen to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. So I was really fortunate enough to not go through that. Mm-hmm.
And as a healthcare provider, did anyone in your friend or family circle who's not involved in healthcare feel nervous around you at all? Because I know that happened to a lot of people, that they felt like, oh, you're in a setting where you're exposed to this virus. I don't want to, I don't know what it would be like interacting. Did that happen at all for you?
More like the opposite. I was nervous of getting in contact with people. My fiance, he's a truck driver, so when this whole thing hit, I didn't see him for like 2 months. So it yeah, it was a long time I didn't go without seeing. Versus my family, my immediate family, they do live an hour away, and I think I went a month and a half without seeing them. And then my mom had an appointment in town, so like she had to come. I did meet with them, but I was like kind of like a little nervous because my parents, they are immunocompromised. My sisters, one of them does have asthma, the other one is relatively healthy, but I was still kind of cautious. Air hugs, kiss. Yeah.
I think most healthcare workers were nervous about getting others sick because the whole asymptomatic carrying and all of that, especially with many of us having immunocompromised family members.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's been a very nerve-wracking time.
I think I was more nervous than my family was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so what were some ways that you coped with that time of uncertainty, in terms of having hours cut, also the nervousness of just being outside? What were some coping mechanisms that you adopted during that time?
I took that time to really like find myself, to find new hobbies. I started to walk outside. March in Minnesota, it was actually kind of decent. It was decent weather, so I was able to walk outside. I took up yoga. I took an interest in yoga. I still do it today. I just find it very peaceful and relaxing. Other things I did, and I was living by myself because my fiance, he was out on the road, so like I really got like me time, but at the same time I really wanted to like interact with others. And like so that was kind of hard, not just being isolated and not talking to anyone, just on the phone texting, stuff like that. I'm introverted anyways, but like I think after, when I got back to work and started to socialize more, I was even more quiet than I was before.
Yeah.
I did notice that. So I still notice that today, even today.
I think I definitely agree with you on that because I would call myself an introverted extrovert. And, so everyone's like, oh, introverts must be having the time of their lives because they have to be inside. But even we have a certain, threshold where it's like, okay, I need to interact with other people. And then it's kind of, like you said, odd to get back out there. And after this time of solitude, really like know what to talk about, what to say to others.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's interesting that you took up yoga too, because I think that's very stress relieving. And like you said, it gives you a chance to get to know yourself and just bring peace to your mind, body, and everything. So are you still practicing yoga now?
Yeah, I do it in the morning sometimes if I have time before work. I'm trying to make it a habit to also do it in the evening, but like I get so tired and I just want to go to sleep. And on my day offs, I definitely take it.
Nice. Yeah, yoga is really relaxing, especially I don't know if they have it in Minnesota, outdoor yoga, but they do have some pop-up outdoor yoga I've been to.
Around my area or in Minnesota, but I definitely have to look into that now.
Yeah, they're really fun. The only odd thing sometimes is if you're too far back from the instructor, you can't hear what they're saying. So you kind of have to look up and see what else everyone else is doing. Yeah, but it's really cool, especially if it's like sunrise or sunset yoga. Yeah,
very nice. Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, and how do you feel that these activities outside of healthcare that you picked up during the pandemic, and even other hobbies that you did before the pandemic, how have they shaped you as a person today?
Let's see. Well, it just made me realize I'm not sure how to answer that. How did that shape me to how I am today? Well, it just really just made me find myself. It made me realize that it is important to have activities outside your job because your job isn't like really anything. It's important to find time for yourself.
Yeah.
I hope that was a good answer. I wasn't sure how to answer that.
I agree that no, that's a great answer because the reason why I asked that is because being in healthcare myself as well, it's so easy to get wrapped up in work and just everything is healthcare. But it also is very important, like you said, for mental health to have something outside that you do and that you're passionate about because
Yeah.
it gives you that balance. It kind of takes the routine out of everything, so to speak, and also gives you something to talk about because when you're at work, you can talk about the yoga that you're doing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it gives you a way to manage stress because it's a very stressful environment at times, and especially with yoga, walking outside, like you mentioned,
Hmm.
any other activity that people are doing outside of healthcare can help them just to be a well-rounded individual overall.
Hmm. Exactly. And you never know if someone at work might have a similar hobby or activity that you can do together.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it really makes a person when you're able to ask them what they're passionate about and they can tell you something other than their job, which we're also hopefully passionate about too.
Yes.
But it just adds another dimension to, the conversation.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And so, you talked a lot about your educational journey to get to the point of the CSA and a few of the future goals that you have. So, for those who are interested in pursuing the same career path as you, what advice would you give them?
Um, um, be passionate about learning. You're not gonna know everything about anything. Learn how to take criticism. That was very hard for me. I'm kind of like an emotional person, so if someone told me I did something wrong, I was like freaking out, in the inside because I was like, wow, just to work in healthcare or in medicine, you have to have a strong heart and a strong mind, and just don't what people say to you, don't take that personally because that they could be having a bad day, so don't feel bad about that. Be open to just learning new things and just having that passion to learn because the healthcare field, medicine, it's constantly evolving, changing, new technologies coming out, so you have to keep up with that as well.
Yeah, I think that's excellent advice. First, with not taking constructive criticism too personally, because at the end of the day, your superiors are just trying to help you save lives.
Mhm.
And every time we interact with patients, that's someone's life in our hands. So they just want to make sure that we don't make any mistakes that could be dangerous or fatal.
Yep.
And the other thing that you mentioned about staying up to date with current developments in medicine and healthcare are also important as well because from a professional standpoint and also from the patient standpoint, especially with insurance too, the way insurance is changing,
Oh yeah, that too.
um, mhm, because there's a lot of barriers to care that patients endure based on their insurance coverage. Um, Technologies that you can think outside the box to offer patients as well. Staying up to date with that is really important. So I think those are both great pieces of advice. And staying excited about learning because there's
Hmm.
always something to learn for
Yeah,
sure.
you learn some. I still learn something every day, so yeah, that never stops.
Yeah. Yeah, I think anybody entering the healthcare field who feels as though there's going to be a point where they're done learning, uh, I'm
Oh
sorry to say that's
no.
not true. I'm sorry. There's always going to be another exam, another certification, or something that you have to keep updated because things change every day with the
Mhm.
developments in science, and you just have to be excited about it, excited about learning new things.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, if you could look into the future 5 years from now,
Mhm.
what would you see yourself doing professionally and even outside of that personally?
Um, let's see. Like it's so easy to answer, but like it's not because my answer does change like every day because I do think about the future a lot. So I see myself just helping others and making a difference in their lives, whether I am a provider one day or not. I still want to positive impact on other people. And for myself, I just see myself being like more confident and outgoing, just having possibly start maybe like a business or like a brand that's like passionate. Like I'm really passionate about like fitness and yoga. So, you know, that can be something that I might be doing in the future. But moreover than that, I just want to help others, make a difference, and just become the best version of myself.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I totally see that passion and fire that you have for what you do for the fitness. I see your page, so I definitely see you going far with that. And whenever your brand drops, just let me know. And I'm happy to support and also share the word, because we all need that side hustle, and I think
Yeah.
that's really important to keep us going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That hobby into a project.
Exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
and there's nothing wrong with a hobby turning into something for profit as well.
Yeah.
You know, like as we have our main job, and then we have that, that website up where people can buy merchandise and things like that. That's definitely
Mhm.
exciting to look forward to.
Mhm.
So, what would you say to anybody who might be still struggling with, the effects of the pandemic, whether it's mental health or, struggling to find that right career path, or just any tough time that they might be going through? What advice would you give them?
Um, Keep positive. I know that's like really easy to say, but like if you're constantly thinking about all the negative things in your life, that energy you're putting out will come back to you, or like even at double force. So keep positive, eliminate yourself from negative energy, whether that's like people, a toxic household, a toxic work environment. If you need to leave that, then you need to, just to protect yourself from that negative mentality. I believe your mindset is just really, it's really important to have a good positive mindset during these times.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with that. Your mind is really where everything starts and ends in
Mm-hmm.
terms of your goals, because there could be a lot of naysayers telling you can't do it. They might even be family or friends.
Yeah.
But as long as you tell yourself you can do it, you can, and you're going to find a way to do it. So I like what you said about removing yourself from negative circumstances, because we do have the power to do that. Sometimes we become addicted to that, addicted to being around that toxicity. But as soon as you take yourself out of that, you're going to see so many things flourishing in your life. So I think that's definitely important to keep in mind. Yeah. Well, Alejandra, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you. We learned so much about what you do, about your future goals, and are there any pages that you want the people in the comments to follow, to keep updated with you?
I have my IG page. That of course, and I do have a TikTok as well. I just post workout videos on there. They're fun to do, and I love to post them. So, just for others, hopefully for them to get inspired. Just because exercising is just a really good like stress reliever if like you really do give it a try. So.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think if people see those quick workouts on TikTok, that'll be inspiring to them as well. Because just take a few minutes a day
Oh,
to get,
yep, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
awesome. Is your TikTok the same, fitness and scrubs?
It's not. It's ideal. Period. ALE. I can do it in the comments.
Okay, yeah, if you do that, I
But
can pin it for people to follow you.
yeah, and like you said, their TikTok. It's so everyone. TikTok is addicting. So yeah, just really quick workout videos that you can either try for yourself or just for inspiration.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think that's great. And I think a lot of people who were unable to go to the gym during the pandemic, they were
Yep.
able to look at YouTube, TikTok, Instagram for workouts. So the more people they see working out, the better.
Yep. And yeah, working out from home is just as effective as working out at the gym because I do both. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with that. And sometimes it's even more fun because you don't have to worry about crowds,
Yes.
you know?
That's like, yeah, that's my favorite thing about working out from home. It's just you, your music, no stairs, no judgment. You do whatever you want. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, because I found a lot of videos on YouTube like Zumba, kickboxing. Like, you'd be amazed at how many free videos there are out there that you can just,
Yeah, YouTube is a good resource. Yeah.
yeah. And then something else you can do too is just like freestyle dance around with like your favorite music,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
just get moving, walk around.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time this evening. Everyone follow Alejandra on her TikTok for more fitness videos, ideal.ale. And I wish you all the best. I know we're going to be hearing about your brand coming out very soon. We'll be in touch. And everyone who wants to watch this interview, it's going to be here on Instagram and on my YouTube channel. The link will be in the bio. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thank you so much for your time, Alejandra.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you. All right. Good night.
Good night.